Hi, it's Joey, the same page watching Superman and Lois, Season 2, Episode 6, Tried and True. The last episode was intense. I'm very excited for the next one. Let's go. Is this his world? What is up with this place? Okay, so there was a favored child here. No Lois. I'm so, like, what happened here? Ooh. I'm so intrigued. Like, all the photos of Jonathan had been destroyed, and of Jordan was still there.
Now I'm stuck once again. Because of you.
Not because of me. Because you killed innocent people.
Uh-huh.
2 teenagers.
We need to talk about this. Mm-hmm.
The pendant you came here with.
Let's just say I'm not as revered on my world as you are here, Cal. But none of that's of any concern to you.
I want to know more.
Why she would inherit enough power to send us all into oblivion.
Would she want to send us all to oblivion? She can't really rule over us if we're in oblivion, can she? But yeah, we need to stop her. See, other weird clerk, if we just sat and talked about it, it's far more constructive.
Lane never had a single problem with Superman not
Mm-hmm.
You've been here for 6 months, and in that time, our relationship with this country's best defense system has deteriorated significantly.
I agree.
Ex-kryptonite has...
You're not very good at this job. I don't trust you and you scare me. He's so excited that his brother has powers.
When you're cold, you start hearing like high-pitched sounds and noises.
Oh, he just wants to help his brother through it.
We could even be like the fraternals or something. That'd be pretty cool.
Ooh.
What's this?
Man, what I tell you, you just put your head down, work hard, have a little patience, and you get your shot.
Use drugs.
Yeah, well, Timmy's sick, so.
Your father loves you very much. Both of you.
She's a wonderful mother.
And he is always going to be around, okay?
What does the little one know?
And can you...
I think she just wanted them away so she could cry. This storyline's really hitting me hard. Honestly, fuck Lucy at this point.
This has gone on.
The only person she cares about is herself.
You have no
idea what you're talking about.
Knock it off, both of you.
What on earth did this man think this was going to achieve?
The rest of my
They're not
retirement
5.
Doing this with you. This is the first time the 3 of us have gotten together, and God knows
Whose
how long.
fault is that?
Doing it, but I need my family back. Can we at least try to make things right?
Oh no, I don't like this. The way he's made it all about him. I need my family back. Like, Lucy clearly, truly believes Lois has wronged her. Lucy has wronged Lois. Has very much gone down a terrible path that he should really be trying to help steer her through. And instead he's like, me sad. Men. Obviously, I don't mean all men. Clark is very much wonderful. Oh, John Henry's alright too. There's 2 okay men. And the boys are still children.
Sir Commanding Officer, I take full responsibility for what happened.
Where is the monster that killed my daughter? You are a disgrace.
Like, he made a lot of shit decisions.
Spare me here. I finally feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be.
It's awful because I think the coach would have picked him for this game even without the drugs because he's the secondary quarterback. The dude who was quarterback last season, I guess, graduated. I don't know. But, like, Jordan is the second choice dude at the moment. Jonathan. So I just feel like they would have probably picked him anyway without the drugs, but now he's kind of being picked because of the drugs and it kind of cheapens him being picked.
When is enough finally enough?
Their family was having such a sort of renaissance of goodness and love and togetherness.
Can we talk, please?
Did you text to ask if you'd come over? Because that would be appropriate.
Who's sorry doesn't even begin to do it justice.
Was she ever in this house?
Once.
Fucking hell.
Please. I made a horrible mistake.
Over 6 months, repeatedly.
You and me, we're so much stronger now.
What?
All of that has never changed.
Then why did you have an affair?
Not one bit.
I can't do this right now. I need you to leave.
Lana, I love you with all of my heart.
You said your piece, now leave, please. I believe him. You know, I don't think in this instance he's not telling the truth, but love isn't always the answer to everything. I mean, I do hope their family finds a way through, but at the same time, that way through might just be co-parenting.
Just saying, that first
I mean,
one
this
still
is
holds up.
nice, but
All right. I'll be right outside, Peanut.
like, regardless of what you think of their argument, Lucy needs a lot more like guidance from her dad than just Peanut. Like, she's part of a cult and she nearly ended her life to try and ascend to another plane.
Why are you even talking to that thing?
Because I need to understand why he's here.
Exactly.
A bigger threat may be coming.
Because you don't just shoot first. When you've got someone captured in particular, asking them questions is usually a good idea. You know, shoot, murder, kill isn't the best solution.
From where? Find out where he's going.
Oh, he's gonna be all pissed off because that didn't sound like American voices, right?
See? Hi, it's me, Clark.
She doesn't know he's
My guy is
Superman.
exactly the same.
He is never going to tell me the things that I need to know.
Jesus
Jason
Christ.
doesn't trust me.
Because he went to Russia? You could make him trust you if you extended a little bit of that trust back towards him. Why should he tell you everything and then you just get to do whatever the fuck you want?
You think there was more than one?
He says there wasn't. He came over this morning and told me how much he loved
With
me.
cheating and what a betrayal of trust it is, you can say there's only one, you can cry, but especially when you're only telling people because you were caught, because they found out anyway, how could you ever trust him that it was only one? I mean, knowing the circumstances and the situation and how he's been about it, it probably was only one, but still. And it's 6.
Are the girls there?
Rest will take care of itself.
Thanks.
Got him, it was
I'm just gonna
drugs.
hit the bathroom before the game.
He would have earned this spot. Maybe it would have taken him ever so slightly longer. I don't know, but he would have freaking earned this spot. Yeah, he couldn't do this without the drugs. It's going to make it even harder for him to make it into the team in the future when he's suddenly not as good as he used to be.
And I am sorry.
No, you're
I
not.
was stupid and naive.
Last night, or the other night, whenever the party was, you were literally crying, you told me you're going to leave your wife. Poor me. You're not fucking sorry.
Kyle's a good guy. When it came down to it, he did the right thing and chose his family.
The right thing was never sleeping with you in the first
When
place,
exactly did you
sunshine.
break things off with you? After Sarah's accident.
Yeah, around then.
I was assuming that this had been happening kind of in the previous season when, like, he was drinking all the time and, like, you know, things weren't great. I kind of assumed that was the timeline, but it was before the show. Not, like, years and years and years before the show, but before the show. So, obviously, even he broke off the affair, but he didn't clean up his act.
Against her will, doesn't that kind of behavior concern you? Sometimes you have to show people the truth. Do you
Lucy.
hear yourself? That is textbook extremist behavior. What else did she get? What other choice does she have? I'm guessing anything
Lucy.
not involving drugging or...
See, honestly, this is why old General Lane should really have just sat down with Lucy and talked it all through with her and tried to tell her how he feels about it all and try to see how she feels and see if she's, because as nice as it is to get the family together, it's not healthy to have someone with these kind of ideals. I wouldn't want her around my children. You know, I wouldn't want a QAnon person around my family. I'd be like, sorry, we were once family, but I mean, I can't help you. You're delusional.
You refuse to be wrong, and I cannot be around that, Lucy.
Lucy, is somebody else here potentially refusing to be wrong? Could somebody else here potentially be refusing to consider any other sides to this story? Is there anybody else here who's refusing? Oh yeah, there is. It's you.
Please, she is dangerous.
Tell Dad I'll call him later.
Not even gonna stay for John? For your nephews you claim you love so much? Like, you could literally go and sit somewhere else even, congratulate him, and then say, I've got to go. I hope that's what she's doing, because otherwise any claim she has that she loves her nephews can go out the fucking window.
Well, I guess Timmy lost his starting spot.
Yeah, not because of your brother.
Oh.
You didn't hear. Yeah, Timmy's mom caught him huffing some weird drug from the mines.
What do you mean huffing?
I don't know, I guess he was using an inhaler or something.
Yeah.
Where's Lucy?
A zealot, I'm afraid. Forcing them together was never going to work. It was lovely while it happened.
I'll destroy the pendants.
Seriously.
The threat that we discussed.
We're on the same team.
You keep saying that, but you refuse to trust me. Well, now I've made the choice.
Oh my god. This is so infuriating. He literally trusted you this morning. He told you he had the guy. He told you, like, he gave you way more information than you've ever given him. Why does Ian Bowen play such awful people all the time?
You're using XK, aren't you? Who cares? I care.
And I
You lied to
care.
me. I thought you were getting powers. You need to stop. Why?
Because it's a dangerous
What, you're not handling me
substance.
finally getting what I deserve? No. Lay off.
Oh, and he's not there to help. Way to make Superman your enemy, you idiots.
You're not acting like yourself. This is the new me. So you better get used to it.
They need their dad right now.
I'm not gonna let you do this.
Boys!
At least they've got a
Jordan.
vague
Jordan.
figure.
Jordan!
Jordan, I know you love your brother, and I know you don't want to rat him out or whatever. Tell people immediately. Tell your parents. This is not the kind of thing that you're being a good sibling by covering up.
What the hell?
I have another choice.
Yes, you do. Is he working with Ali? What is this man?
Now we have family, right?
That's what makes this so hard. Can't help but wonder, would you have broken it off to save your marriage?
Yes, of course. Come
Then why didn't
I loved
you?
myself back then.
Do you even know who that is? And not some version of you 20 years ago. I mean you. Today.
I'm honestly right back where I was last season, where I'm like, at the very least, a separation for these two is really what they need.
I have always loved you. That hasn't changed.
Did it when you were having an affair for 6
Maybe
months?
not for you.
Oh. Please.
I respect her 100% right now. She was honest. Sometimes the consequences of your actions do affect you, Kyle.
If I'd been more attentive when she was younger, she never would have sought out somebody like Alec Halston.
You can be attentive
Control.
Sure
now.
feels like it.
We need to talk.
You need to tell your
I
mum,
know
sweetheart,
you-
you're helping him if
I
you
don't want to
do.
talk to you. Look.
He's been arrested for treason.
Fucking Anderson.
Until he reveals the location of that thing that killed our men, Superman will remain a prisoner of the United States government.
Where are they taking him, sir?
You really don't know how to do your job, sir.
To be with his brother.
Regardless of the fallout of this, because I have to believe ultimately the fallout is going to be that Clark is no longer considered a treasonous person, I would 1000% be like, well, okay, I'm not working with the American military anymore. I will obviously still save American lives because he doesn't discriminate. He saves all lives everywhere. But yeah, fuck that. I'm no longer an American military ally. I am an American ally. Military can fuck themselves. What on earth is wrong with Anderson? What a petty little bitch of a man. At this point, if it doesn't turn out he's secretly working with Ali Alston, I will be like, obviously there are a lot of shit people in the military. A lot of people do not join it for, I mean, in general, militaries are quite problematic organizations in general, like kind of need one, but then how, like, it's just a mess, and I'm not going to solve that right now. But a lot of people, there are obviously good people who join the military with good reasons behind it, or people who join the military because they think, oh, it's a definite paycheck so I can support my family. There are also people who join the military because they think it's going to give them power over other people and make them look good. I feel like Anderson is definitely one of those people. His entire attitude from the moment he met Clark was, Superman, I'm better than you, do what I say or else. And it was been very, very frustrating to watch. To then be like, oh yeah, so you need to stop saving lives that aren't American. Wait, you're not going to do that? Then there is zero trust between us, fuck off. Is essentially how this all started. Whereas if he was just like, you know, oh hi, let's have a working relationship, he would have told him. Now, obviously, I think there are genuinely in real world questions to be had. If you do have a superpowered individual, how much leeway can that person have? The whole like Captain America Civil War type argument of like how much oversight should there be if this person has so much power. But then if you also think about it, well, if someone is simply born with a very good metabolism and they're able to run really fast and they're just naturally very strong, should that person have regulations on them? Because I couldn't beat them in a fight. They could murder me very easily and I wouldn't be able to do anything to defend myself. Obviously that's ridiculous. So like, where do you draw the line? Like, there are huge questions to be had. And as much as I don't love the military having all this kryptonite and everything, I can kind of understand the concept of them needing some kind of a store, because if he does go rogue, or if anyone else kind of turns up that's like him, they are going to need to be able to fight him. They do need contingencies, and they do need to be able to trust him. And like, if anybody else had captured this dude, would they probably be quite angry about it? Yes. The next resort wasn't immediately, you know, torturing him with the red light and kryptonite and then arresting him. The next step was talking to him. Like, as much as I can understand that people, not any old person, can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go deal with that criminal by myself and subvert the laws. At the same time, this isn't an everyday case. This is a very different type of thing, something that is more suited to Superman than little General Anderson. And also, Superman has built up a lot of trust and goodwill. What instances are there where what he has done has ultimately been to harm people? None. Very, very frustrating. And the fact that his boss okayed it, the same boss that was really angry that he'd broken all trust with Superman, is now like, yeah, sure, it's cool. That doesn't make sense to me. I guess he spun it as, oh, he's hiding him, he's keeping him from us. But he very clearly was keeping him from you and getting information from him, information that you would most likely not get if you yourselves had him. So yeah, very, very frustrating. I was really, like, one of the things I liked in season 1 was that the head of the military was supportive of him, and yeah, they still clashed, they still had arguments, they still disagreed with how to do things, but you know, General Lane was an ally of Superman and, you know, wasn't going to do anything like this on him. He had contingencies and he had preparations because he had to for his job, but ultimately they were a team, and I'm really not enjoying this antagonistic thing between them. Like, honestly, just send down, let's get rid of Anderson and replace him, please. But yeah, stressful for Clark. Lucy is a very frustrating character as well. And you know, I do want to make a point of saying I don't hate her. I am very sorry for her. I think she is someone who was in a vulnerable state of mind and was taken advantage of and truly believes the nonsense she's spouting. But I find it very, very funny the way that she keeps accusing Lois of being too rigid-minded, of not accepting any other alternatives, but she herself refuses to accept that there might be a reason her sister thinks Ali is dangerous, refuses to accept that there is even a possibility that what Ali is saying isn't true. Because even if you do have managed to have some vision of your other self, why does that mean there is an inverse of you? Have you ever heard of parallel universes? Obviously in the real world, we do not know if that is actually a thing, but the concept of parallel universes is a thing we all know is a possibility. So if someone were to say, oh yeah, I found one other world, you'd immediately be like, well, are there others? Not, yeah, we all have an inverse. And if anything, I honestly think Lois should really sit down with her and be like, look, I've spoken to Superman and like, I can't tell you this and I wish I could, but there are things about Ali you clearly don't know because there are massive red flags. So it's very frustrating to kind of see. It was nice that General Lane finally tried to do something for his family, but it was such a pathetic, like, I'm sad that you don't get on. Get on for me, please. Like, yeah, it was a nice gesture, but it should have been a gesture that came after he sat down and spoke to Lucy and talked about how much Lois loves her and how much Lois has tried to help her, and like, maybe Lois has gone about it wrong, maybe she's made mistakes. We're not saying Lois is some perfect human, but she truly loves you, and you know, as your father, I have to say there are some big red flags when it comes to this Ali person, and you know, can you tell me why you think those red flags are green? And try and talk to her that way, you know, because honestly, I know it ended up with Lucy walking away all hurt and angry, but my response would be, I wouldn't want someone that believed in Ali near my children, because what if she talks to them about it? You know, Jordan has had various mental health issues. Jonathan is currently, I believe, having a kind of mental health crisis. He's, you know, an inferiority complex and all that kind of stuff. Either one of them could right now be, especially as their children, in a vulnerable state for someone like Ali to take advantage of. I would not want Lucy near them. Ever. it also got me when Lucy kept making such a big fuss over how amazing it was to be with her nephews and how great it is that they're grown, that like, you're the reason you haven't been near them. They haven't been hiding from you. Obviously it's not that black and white, but I just find Lucy very frustrating with her just, I am perfect and wonderful, Lois, and why do you think you're so perfect and wonderful? I'm right. You know, she willfully takes everything Lois says the worst way possible. And again, I don't think it's necessarily unrealistic. I think people who get lost in these kind of situations will act like this. I think people who are taken advantage of, people like Ali, will truly believe it. And I'm not saying Lucy is a weak person, because I don't believe in such a thing, but I think people can have vulnerable points in their lives where they are more susceptible to stuff like that, and Lucy was very much experiencing that. General Lane needs to get his freaking act together. He's still being a mostly shit parent. I do feel very sorry for Lois in this, because she kind of got that glimpse of what it was like to have her sister back, and then a reminder that her sister is a crazy raving person. The glimpse into the other world, the one where Ali is like a god, I do think it's kind of funny that her headquarters of being a god are the military complex. But it's very interesting that obviously in that world Clark is trying to stop them. Did she do something to him that made him look like that? If I'm not mistaken, I may have been like, the pictures at the beginning in his house were of him and the boys, but Jonathan was either cut out or scribbled out. So definitely worries me that Jonathan is going to, right now he is the one more susceptible to Ali. Again, I don't necessarily think in our world he will go there, but you know, it worries me. These boys are worrying me. I feel like I'm a third parent for them. It is just, it was very interesting, it's insight into it, and to kind of see the red lighting, because obviously it's a red sun, not a yellow sun. I am just stressed with where this is all going to go, and I need more information. I love the information we did get, and I need more of it. Let me get to the boys. Jordan is being, you know, we have seen both of these boys be such wonderful brothers to each other. They obviously have moments where they argue and they fight and they're brats because they're brothers, they're siblings. Siblings do not just get along perfectly, I've been told. But he was so excited that John was finally getting powers, and just wanted to share that with him and be the most supportive brother ever. And I think it genuinely hurt him when he realized that his brother had been lying to him about it, had been, this thing that he was so excited to share with him wasn't true. And I'm hoping that that hurt is going to flick into concern and he'll tell somebody about it. I mean, maybe I can believe Jonathan that he's going to stop taking it. Even before he knew Jordan knew about it, he was looking pretty bummed out. Like, he just won this game and it didn't matter. It was like I said, it cheapened the moment for him because it wasn't his natural abilities, it was his drug he had. So maybe, hopefully, Jonathan will choose to stop taking it. The danger is obviously he knows that police are looking into it. Candace is the supplier, Candace is his girlfriend. There's a lot of stress going on there. Obviously, I'm still yet to see that he stops taking it. I'm worried about any kind of addiction factor, or simply just how less strong he is without it, that he might feel like he needs it. So yeah. Also, when Candace said her plan was working, did she tell someone that he had these in him? Did she get the other dude to, like, found out so that her boyfriend would become the Star quarterback? I don't know. But yeah, the boys right now, obviously, Jonathan is struggling mentally and doing drugs. He's not going to be his best self right now. And honestly, Jordan should tell someone, you know, that kind of thing, finding out your sibling is doing a dangerous drug, that is not the kind of thing where you should be like a good sibling and cover for them. That is the kind of thing where you should be a good sibling and tell on them. And maybe they'll never forgive you, but it's the safest thing for them. So I'm still very stressed with where the boys are going. Then we come to the Cushings, who I assume it's still the Cushings, or are they Cortezes? I don't know, but the Cushings. And my heart is absolutely shattered in that first scene, with little Sophie asking if her dad was ever coming home, and then everything Lana said about how, like, you know, maybe he's not going to come home, but he still loves you, and that hasn't changed. And then when she was breaking down and trying to hide it from the girls, but Sarah could hear it and came and gave her a hug. Just that, like, the situation was very, very different, but that hit very, very, very close to home. And it was just done so well and so realistically, and, like, I just felt that real life family moment that was happening. And, you know, for Sarah, it is impossible. You know, she's just got this vision, like, it's just, they were just reaching such a lovely place as a family, and now this has happened. And and it's entirely Kyle's fault. Like, I will give him credit, not really credit, but an allowance, I suppose, that he definitely used to do, like, abuse alcohol. I'm assuming he feels like an alcoholic to me. So he wasn't in the best mental state, and their marriage wasn't in the best mental state, when we first met them. I have to assume it had been like that before, and that was kind of part of what had led to Sarah's mental health crisis. Again, mental health is a lot more complicated than that. It's not like it's her parents' fault. But part of it, from what we've heard her say, was feeling like she didn't want to end up trapped like her mother in this kind of miserable life, in this miserable town, in this miserable marriage. So clearly things weren't great between them, and even, you know, Lana can admit that she kind of felt something was off, but she told herself it wasn't true. It doesn't excuse him though. Like, an affair is never excusable. It is, this kind of affair is slightly more work throughable than if things were great and he was doing it. But it's very interesting because, you know, it's such a hard topic to cover in so many ways. Partly because it hits so close to home for so many people, but I am so proud of Lana for the decision she came to. Maybe, I have no idea where they're going to go in the long run. Like I said, given that their marriage wasn't exactly at its most strong and steady when it happened, there is a chance down the line she will work through it. But I think right now, she's come to the realization that she doesn't really even know who this man is, and he doesn't really even know who he is. Half the time, like, is he just pretending to be this great, happy, healthy, loving father? Like, who is he and where is he? He's made this huge choice. He's lied about it. The time to come clean was when they were patching things up after the huge rough patch. And yeah, maybe that would have led to Lana walking away then. But I think when they went from being, like, you know, so miserable and so angry and so just not on the same page in the first season to being beyond perfect and happy and loving, that was the time you should have told her, during that transition, during when you were apologizing for your act and cleaning up your act and things were getting better. That was the time to come clean about all of your mistakes. And I get, again, human nature, it's scary, you don't want to do it because this might happen. But Kyle is dealing with the consequences of his own actions, and so far, he hasn't tried to put any of it back on Lana. He hasn't tried to do the, well, you know, you weren't a great wife, or, you know, it's all your fault. So I think so far, he's dealing with this part of it okay, you know? Do I like him? Not particularly. I don't hate him either. I just think, oh, pathetic man. You know, he had a wonderful family and a wonderful life, and he threw it down the drain instead of saying, hey, Lana, I don't think our marriage is very healthy. You know, I was tempted by another woman, actually. You know, like, she, you know, we were flirting a bit, and I considered maybe doing something with her, and that made me think, what the fuck? I'm married. Is our marriage healthy? Should we do something about that? You know, that is a big thing to do, but it's the correct response. A 6-month affair. You know, I was willing to give him the vaguest bit of slack if it had been like a one-time thing once when he was drunk. It was a 6-month affair. And this bloody woman being like, I'm so sorry, Lana, it was wrong. Yeah, like last night I was crying and screaming to him like, you said you loved me and that you were going to leave your wife for me, but now I know it's wrong. You just think it's wrong because you were caught. Honestly, people who have affairs are despicable. Who knows what that woman's life was like? I personally don't care. I could never, ever, ever have a relationship with someone that was already in a relationship, let alone married. And if that person said, oh, we're breaking up, I'd be like, okay, cool, see me in 6 months, see me in a year. You know, like, I respect myself too much for one thing, and I respect other people's relationships. So that woman can go fuck herself. And he is a good man. He's not. He had zero intention of leaving his wife the entire time he was with you. Now, in some ways, is it kind of... It just is interesting, because then she puts it as the wake-up call for him was Sarah's suicide attempt. Her accident. Which is when he decided, oh my god, I need to be there for my family. So I'm going to go out drinking all the time and hardly be there for my family. You know? Like, obviously it's hard to just clean up your act instantly. But I'm like, okay, well, the guy we met wasn't much better than a guy having an affair. I literally assumed the affair was taking place in the first season. That is how shit he was acting in the beginning of the first season. So for that to be his, I cleaned up my act for my kid mentality? Okay. Honestly, it's quite interesting because obviously with these reactions going up on YouTube, a month behind the Patreon reactions. I mean, I watched the first season months ago, but now they're going up on YouTube now. And so like season 6, episode 1 will go up this week on YouTube. I'm editing them week by week. And so obviously going through the first season again. And the number of times like I spent in these reactions just telling Sarah and Kyle to take a break, to take a separation, to take a beat, to go to couples counseling, to just separate. Don't be together right now. You need to not be together right now. And I think it was one of those things where the way they got back together could have been the start of a new, fresh, clean slate if all the dirty laundry had been shared. But I still think it's the best thing for them is to take that break. I mean, they've been together since they were 17. Now, in the real world, people do meet when they're in school and they do stay together and they are very happy. But I also think you change so much as a person from who you were as 17 to who you were as 27, 37 to 47. You're not the exact same person. You're not necessarily a drastically different person, but you aren't the exact same thing. Your priorities shift, your opinions can shift, you age, you grow, you get a more mature outlook on things. And I feel like their marriage, if there is any hope for it, needs the separation. And ultimately, if there isn't any hope for it, they will both be so much better off than living in this kind of slightly pretend version where things are perfect. And I thought it was a very interesting moment when she said, well, would you have done it to save your marriage? So, like, I was wondering if the whole thing of like, oh, he stopped it because he was worried about Sarah would have been like, oh, he loves his daughters. But I love that Lana had the kind of self-respect to be like, so it has nothing to do with me. It wasn't him remembering that he loved me. It wasn't him remembering that our marriage was worth fighting for. It was him worrying about his kids, which obviously she's not going to like slap him around the face and be like, you bastard, how dare you care about children. But it was very much a thing of he wants, like, it wasn't me that he came back for. And he doesn't have the right to cry and point to old pictures and be like, look how happy we were, because he's the one that fucked it up. Now, on his own, he could cry and look at pictures and feel like, I fucked everything up, why did I do that? I'm not saying he's not allowed to be sad, because of course he is. I do believe he does love Lana and that he does regret it, but he still did it. So I have immense respect for Lana for taking that stand. And I actually really loved that when Sophie asked her response about is daddy coming home, her response was, I don't know, but he loves you. Because that is the thing you have to do to make sure in this kind of situation, in a divorce, that the children know they are loved. The children know that no matter what is happening between their mum and their dad, they are loved. And that is true. I know for me, I really, that was kind of the line my mum took. But it forever changed my perception of my father. He is not the man I thought he was. And it's going to be interesting to see how they play it. I'm a little concerned because shows love to have it's your parent. They're the only parent. They're like, that's the only dad you have. You have to forgive him. And life doesn't work that way. The number of shows, this is totally off topic, where a parent will, basically, it would be like Lois's mother coming back in the picture now and being like, I'm so sorry for what I did. I am your only mother. You forgive me, right? No, fuck off. I don't forgive you. Oh god, now I'm scared that's going to be a plot line. Which obviously, if there's a real valid reason, maybe. I mean, anyway, I'm rambling off point. I'm just slightly concerned that it's going to be like Sarah should just forgive. I think she'll forgive everything. When you are Sophie's age, you don't really know. They're not going to sit her down. I mean, I'm guessing she knows the general gist, but she's far younger, and at that age, you really do need parents if they're there for you. And yeah. Anyway, the stuff, even though the situation is extremely different to the one I lived through, I wasn't much older than Sarah, and so a lot of the kind of her interaction with Lana and then her kind of struggling to deal with it really hit home. And why was that boy being so nosy? Very, very good episode. Fucking stressful ending. Thank you so much for watching.